The REM is coming. At least one more part of the REM network is coming. Of course, last week we learned that the De Montagne branch of the REM will launch sometime in November, and in October we'll get the lowdown on a more precise date. Now, keeping that in mind, sometimes when you get information, it leads to more questions. And the mayor of the borough of Saint-Laurent has some questions about the Plan B. What happens when the REM goes down? Make no mistake, as we've seen with the REM stations that are currently open, sometimes the REM goes down, and that leads to headaches and backup plans. Let's head over now to Alan DeSousa. He's Ensemble Montréal spokesperson on road infrastructure and, of course, the mayor of Saint-Laurent. Alan, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Elias.
So,
good news, isn't it?
It's so good news. By the way, like for your borough, right? This is you're getting a lot of stations out of this De Montagne branch open. How many stations are going to be on your territory?
Well, in total, the REM is going to have 5 stations in Saint-Laurent. That really puts us at the heart of the REM universe. Just with the 2 mountains line open, 4 stations will be open: Côte de Liesse, Montpellier, DeSousa, and Bois-Franc. And not only will the REM be opening, but my community is going to be having access to downtown, Nuns Island, and even as far as Brossard, with the most recent REM opening scheduled for November, with more to come. West Island to follow in spring, and the airport in 2027. So
how did you do it, Alan? Like how did you get all of these stations just on your territory? Because as I look at the map, you know, it's some places they struggle to get one station, and your borough has a bunch. Why do you think that is?
The secret was convincing the REM that a better way to come and service the airport was by the north. As you remember, from 2008 to 2014, all of the studies indicated that it would be passing by Highway 20. And if that were to happen, we would have actually had no stations. But when the government bought the 2 Mountain line in 2014, I saw the opportunity, worked with the McGill School of Urban Planning, and we were able to show that it made sense for the REM to come by the north, i.e. using the 2 Mountains line, which had the beneficial impact of having 5 stations on our territory, saved the government a lot of money in terms of construction of the rails, and at the end of the day, went through a lot of populated areas where residents, not just in Saint-Laurent, but across the entire northern and western fringes of the island, would get benefits.
So, and I imagine a lot of benefits for your residents because, you know, to get from Saint-Laurent to downtown and to drive it during rush hour, I mean, that's one thing I would never want to do is take DeCarry southbound and northbound during 2 rush hours every day. This is a game changer for you. And when it comes to your residents having quick access to downtown?
Well, it's a 649 that we've won, and if I could compare it to that, because you can imagine for the REM to go downtown, the service is very, very rapid. In the past, we had the 2 Mountains line, and off-peak service was once an hour. Now it's going to be once every 10 minutes or thereabouts, so it'll be coming 5 times an hour. That is service, and that's where people will be able to use it. And I think we're going to see the benefits in terms of getting hundreds, if not thousands, of cars off the road when the REM is fully operational.
And I cannot wait for that. I mean, so, clearly there are certain arteries that need some relief, and I'm hoping the REM can be that relief. Now, having said that, Alan, you, me, and the lamppost, everyone listening, we all know that the REM has had some major hiccups when it comes to operating. The stations they do run, especially during the winter, we've seen outages. You're raising some concerns over the Plan B for when that happens. Tell me more.
Well, I think the secret is going to be reliability. And clearly, we've seen the REM have some hiccups, particularly with the South Shore implementation. And that's why I was quite content to let them work out those kinks and those problems, because it's in nobody's interest to lose confidence in the system. And this winter is going to be important in terms of reliability. So REM can demonstrate that it can provide frequent and reliable service I think we're in business.
What is the
That
backup
being
plan?
said,
What is the backup plan here? What are they saying now? Because it's going to go down, Alan. We know this. It's going to happen.
well,
It'll go down.
that's why I have really two calls. The first call is that the REM provide a permanent parallel infrastructure with buses so that when the REM is down, then people would have access to buses. Currently, they only have a temporary 6-month provision, and even then, they would bring people back to the metro stations, which would be overcrowded because we don't have capacity at Côte Vertu and Du Collège metro stations. We don't have street capacity. We don't have platform capacity. And so that's why my call to them was saying, look, put in place a parallel service that you would be able to revert to when the REM goes down and without cannibalizing the REM. So that's the first call. And this has got to be permanent, not a temporary measure for 6 months. The other piece, which is important, is that the Orange Line extension is barely 1 kilometer away. The tunnel has been done. The government should initiate the studies to complete the Orange Line such that it links up with the Bois-Franc REM station. And that way, if there were to be a generalized electrical breakdown that would paralyze the REM, well, citizens, residents would have an alternative to jump on the Orange Line and to get downtown.
We're wrapping up here with the mayor of Saint-Laurent, Alan DeSousa. But that does lead me, Alan, I think of various places that are serviced by the REM and the backups they have. It seems like you're actually in a pretty privileged position because you've got those two great metro stations that I know and love from my high school days, going to Côte Vertu and Du Collège Metro. You've got those two metro stations. A lot of other parts of the island of Montreal don't have access to that. It could be argued that you're already in a good place when it comes to a backup plan.
Well, there still are going to be delays, and that's what I'm trying to make sure that people are not stranded. The last thing you want is people to be stranded, or that you have a bus service that takes you 3 hours for them to get to where they're going if the REM were to break down. I think that's when people say, if that were to happen, I'm going to take my car, and that's when the system, the confidence in the system and the REM service would begin to show. So my hope is that notwithstanding that we do have those metro stations, if we can extend the Orange Line to Bois-Franc, it would be seamless. It would be continuous. And that is what citizens are looking for: seamless, continuous, reliable service.
Alan, listen, I'm going to have to leave it there. Just staring at the REM map, boy, you guys are really lucky in the borough of Saint-Laurent come November with all of those new stations. I'm sure we'll chat.
Christmas has come early, Elias. Christmas has come early.
That's very right. Okay, Alan, be well. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks again, Elias.
Alan,
have a good day.
Take care. That's Alan DeSousa, mayor of the borough of Saint-Laurent.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.